like every piece of muscle in your body. You didn't know you had it.
Once you damage your spine, it's like damaged pretty much.
They don't go there to damage their spines. You be careful.
Have you fallen?
Yeah, I have. And
he can still walk. Look.
Yeah, last year I fell from the bouldering wall, and well,
They're mats.
yeah, they're thick mattresses, but still, if you fall from the top, depending on how you fall, you can injure yourself, or sometimes you can bump a knee or elbow, or scrape your arms or whatever. But those are just small. But people who fall like from a certain pretty high up on the bouldering wall, and if they don't land correctly, yeah, they can break their legs.
So is this something you picked up back in the States and brought here, or you learned this here?
No, I've always liked climbing, but never really done it in the frequency that I'm doing it now. I climb about 4 times a week now. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's in part
dance once a week. You climb 4 times a week, and you go hiking.
Are you sure
I got high.
working?
Maybe he's getting ready for the superhero movie because he's gonna star as the superhero.
Yeah. And then archery. I love archery.
Archery. Wait,
yeah.
so when you do this in Beijing, like how do you find where to do these things?
There are archery. What do you call it?
Shuangjing, they have it.
Yeah, Shuangjing has it.
I don't think it's this
Baizuan,
like Jason.
I've never done archery, but
Yeah.
I've seen that they have an archery place.
Yeah. I have it laying in my house.
What?
So
You shoot arrows in your house.
yeah, from my front door.
Not coming over.
From my front door to the balcony is about 12 feet. So normally, if you're in a
You have a very short time to escape.
Yeah, no, I won't shoot you. I shot a window once.
Did the glass break?
No, it's pretty thick. It just the arrow went. It just stuck.
It's stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you take a picture?
Yeah.
Is it hard to like for someone coming to Beijing for the first time? Is it hard to find groups where you can participate in things like that? Like how would you go about that? Like if Jason wants to go rock climbing, how would he do it?
Well, also just making friends. How did you originally make friends? Both questions.
Well, at first from work, I guess, and once you sort of you have friends from work bringing you or introducing you to other friends, and then from there you sort of it depends on the person, I guess. If you're an outgoing person, active person, you'll seek it out.
But
Yeah,
going back to her question, so you wanted to create a dance group because you created one before.
Yeah.
So you just met people and you're like, hey, you want to
sought
come
them out. Well, actually, I searched on the internet, and I was trying to see if there's already a group here, and there was, although they weren't doing much.
So you came in and took over.
I came in and I said, can I participate? Can I try to build this? And then I worked with the people that already had a group, sort of a brand, so to speak. Yeah. And then we're called Beijing Contact.
Beijing Contact.
BJCI.
Oh, cool. Got an abbreviation.
Website, there's WeChat. You know.
So you find each other on WeChat.
WeChat
People,
group.
oh, you interested in joining the group? Scan here.
Mostly, we don't advertise, but mostly it's friends bring friends in. Yeah.
Is this
fun?
Is something people have to pay to be participate? Because you're in a studio. Who pays for the studio?
Right. We do it with what do you call it? Sort of group paying, joint paying. Everyone pays.
I see.
Yeah. So 众筹. We don't charge very much. Just everyone chips in 168 yuan a month, and they get to come every Sunday. Yeah. So it's a little more than.
Try out the parks. Fresh air, clean fresh air for free.
168 a month is not that much.
$20-something.
That's half the price of most gyms in Beijing. So if you're going to join,
Yeah, and you get to come every Sunday.
And it's social, making friends, making contacts.
Yeah. It's just really fun. Dancing this way, when you have that connection, when you move with a certain person in sync for a short amount of time, even, you get to feel what their personality is like. You get to feel their hearts. Really, you get to feel their vibes, their energy.
What if it's someone you do not like?
Well, he definitely went to Berkeley. He's talking about vibes. And his aura was yellow or pink or something.
I'm a Berkeley Jedi, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we started out and we learned more about the direction that you want to take your career is telling China's story. Mm-hmm. So what does the future hold for the kind of projects you're going to be involved in?
Can't say much back then, right? Just yet. Yeah, I've written the story and then I'm still working on it. Yeah. But now, you know, with how the film industry is and how I think digital devices are, I think people's attention span is getting shorter and shorter.
You know, we had someone named Rick on recently, a school teacher.
Yeah.
He was saying the same thing about American school kids in high school, that they can't read full books as much. They have to read short stories because a full book is too much to handle now.
Yeah, yeah. There's too much distraction. You know, the kids, Generation Z or X or Y, you know, they're always looking for something.
Constant stimulation.
Yeah.
They can't handle being bored.
5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You know,
15 seconds. That's like, wow, that's a long video. I'm actually still interested in, like, why is it so hard to, I don't want to use the word export, but that's what I mean. You know, there are good films, at least that's well received in China. But why can't it make it to the States?
Well, can I weigh in on this?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I'm not an expert, but I like to watch movies. And as an American, there are very few people who are interested in foreign films, whether it be German or French or even British. Even British in English. There are movies coming out in English, and a lot of Americans are not interested in most of those movies.
They're popular here, like in China.
There's a very
TV
big
series
bias in America to watch American movies. So even a movie made in Australia or Canada or in England, where it's clearly accessible, people are not as interested.
Actually, you know, that's not just for the film industry, because like living here, I find it's more international in a way that you can get products from all over the world, and it's easy. Just go on Taobao, right? You can get like milk powder from New Zealand or soap from New Zealand, and then a lot of other things from Europe and all over Iceland, wherever. But in the States, when you go to the supermarket, it's mostly things made in the US and a lot of things made in China other Southeastern countries.
There are exceptions. It's like chocolate. A lot of the best
maybe.
chocolate is coming from Europe. So if you're a chocolate connoisseur, you're probably not buying American chocolate. No offense to American chocolate.
Well, Hershey's, that's American.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in the town that had Hershey's when I was very young, Oakdale, California, and they exported the factory, and it's terrible. No offense to Hershey. It's way too much like sugar and milk and not enough chocolate, and it's just, oh yeah. Sorry, Hershey. Sorry, I apologize, Hershey.
Yeah, I guess my point is not just film, but other things. You know, in the States, maybe they're just not importing enough from other countries. But back to film, why is it so hard for other films to make it in the US?
I would still say the first thing is language. Yeah, it's not a first, even with subtitles or translation. And when something is dubbed, it's not natural. You know it right away. Even if the translation is good, but your voice and the lip shape, something's different. Unless, of course, the story is very, very engaging. People watch foreign films. So most audience that do watch foreign films are the people who like artsy films. You know, they're not the sort of the mainstream.
They're for something different. For a deep experience.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the...
Well, what are steps that can be taken to make Chinese films more accessible to an American audience, in addition to language?
Yeah, of course, this would be, my personal opinion. There's no one way of doing things. Storytelling is you have to tell a way that's more international. The Chinese way of storytelling, since I've been here for 6 years, I've watched a lot of Chinese TV shows and movies. Chinese culturally, the people are they're shy in their communicating. A lot of things are hidden or left unsaid, but you understand.
Right.
You understand. It's understood, but it's not spoken. And then the way that filmmakers do it, in a way, only Chinese people can understand the emotions, the struggles, or the love, or whatever that's happening between the characters. But foreigners, they look at it, they don't necessarily get it. They don't get the emotions. They don't get what's to be understood.
The
Right.
cultural context.
The unsaid part is just unsaid and just blank.
It's like, okay, that's it.
Because in Chinese culture, the unsaid part is usually the more important part.
Right.
Right? Like how Chinese people never say, I love you in
Those are the parts
Chinese.
that touch the
Right.
audience. Yeah.
Like that, like
Yeah.
we just don't
We have
say
to
it.
find a way to,
But
find a better
you
way.
show it other ways.
A lot of Chinese movies where the ending is not the way an American movie would end. So in America, it's very seldom done like by people like Quentin Tarantino, where the end everyone dies or something. But in China, there are a lot of movies where like the guy doesn't get the girl, or mom dies, or something terrible happens, and then that's the end of the movie.
Right.
And I always watching these films, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I feel terrible. I feel awful.
Yeah,
Why did
yeah.
that happen? Why couldn't she live?
Yeah. That's one of the things that I think make Hollywood films successful.
They make you feel good.
It's
the happy ending.
yeah. Well, Hollywood filmmakers, first of all, they really treat it as an art. Second of all, they want the audience to have an experience. It's entertainment. If you're not being entertained, you're not gonna go keep watching
Right.
it.
Like I guess I don't really think of films as entertainment. Now that you mentioned it,
Yeah,
I feel like some films are entertaining,
sure.
and others you kind of sink into someone
like reading a
else's
book.
life.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
reading what you,
Yeah.
and it's closer to reality usually.
Yeah,
You know, those not so happy,
Yeah.
the so
The artsy
endings.
type of movie. Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
So, but as you say, if,
But
maybe
if
they
you want to capture, if you want to do the cultural exchange, or you want to capture audiences from all over the world, you have to think mainstream. Yeah, that's what.
maybe the thing is mainstream in Chinese culture is a little hard to understand. You know, by most Americans.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, because the
That's-
culture
that's
they
the
are
cultural
very
difference.
different.
Yeah. So if your mindset, your goal is making a film, and also to have foreign or have people abroad learn more about Chinese culture, then you have to think how to capture.
I think you have to
broader
make it
audience.
with a different mindset.
Can I ask
Yes,
a
exactly.
different question adjacent?
Yeah.
I'm ignorant about this, so please forgive me. But when there's a huge blockbuster coming out in America, there will be billboards, there will be cups at McDonald's that have the characters on them, there will be T-shirts, there will be merchandise, and
Exactly.
it's not always just to make money from merchandise like in Star Wars. Sometimes it's just to promote the movie. So, I mean, if Chinese films really wanted to break out in another country, couldn't they just do a huge, very expensive ad campaign? I mean, it wouldn't be profitable necessarily, but they would break into the market.
I was talking to a friend here once about this. I expressed that the way a Hollywood producer would plan, or a production team would plan a film is completely different than here. And then he simply just said, we don't need to. We have people here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to make money. We have a 1.4 billion people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a business, they're not as interested in growing it.
They're not
out of the
looking
market.
to do, at least not yet. You know, in Hollywood, every film has, toys, has, action figures and, I don't know, posters. And people collect movie posters. Yeah, I have a ton of them. Over here, it's just
It's like,
a
we
little
don't need to
different.
do this.
It's a little different.
It will sell.
Yeah, as a teenager, I had
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
walls were covered in
Yeah.
musicians and movies and movie stars.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a little different. The mindset is not quite the same, and Also, probably the marketing budget is not the same, right? Marketing budget is at least 7 times as big in the U.S. Meaning the exchange rate, right? It's pretty much it's pretty much 7 times as expensive as here, at least. Of course, the big blockbuster films, they have a lot more. Like very first Spiderman, I think we made, that was that was like 2001 or 2002, something like that. I think just the visual effects budget is 亿是10万、百万、千万、万万 right? 百万、千万、万 100 million is 亿 right? So it's $100 million for the visual effects.
0.1 billion.
Million. 1亿美金.
Lots of zeros.
Yeah. So 100 million. I remember it was 100 million. That was 2002.
Yeah.
2001. I mean, that kind of money, it's not seen anywhere here. Yeah. The budget is much smaller. And then that's why, and then I think because of the film industry here is younger, they still need time to mature. So the investors here, most of the investors I think are not film people. They're thinking money. I put this money in, I want it back in 3 to 6 months. But in the film industry, it's not like that. You can't get it back 3 to 6 months. And then they don't know how much it takes. Like you guys said earlier, it takes a lot to make a film. You know, most people don't know that it takes thousands of people to make one feature film. You know, small productions, that's something different. But a feature film, if you sit through the credit list, there are thousands of people. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm hoping that the industry here, especially the investors, film investors here, can understand what it takes to make a film, and not just like, oh, this script is greenlit, and then
I want 20% back in 6 months.
And then
sign here.
Not having everything ready, and they rush through the shooting, and then they rush through. They always think visual effects can do everything. Oh, we don't need another take. We just fix it later. Yeah, doesn't work. Doesn't work. We always say if you have a crappy shot, you will get crappy visual effects. You can't depend on visual effects to fix your mistake. Although we can, but if you depend on it, say
Stretch the team.
50% of the shot, then you're gonna run out of budget. Yeah. So,
Have you seen Star Trek?
Yeah, of course.
The old original Star Trek movies in the 1980s, they're very slow and they're boring parts of dialogue, just hanging out in like different rooms and things. And now it's just action, because you wouldn't be able to keep people's attention otherwise. So the whole format of how it's made now is changed, and you don't have these slow dialogue bits anymore.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, especially for younger kids. It's literally, it's like doing damage to their brains. Because they've been constantly stimulated.
But how is that going to play into your future projects? Because you still want to make feature animation films, right?
Yeah, I think good stories they still have their place, but China right now, for instance, I think in the U.S., because the film industry is more mature, people love films, and they still go to the theaters, and then also people there don't worry as much about COVID. Over here, if you go to a theater right now, it's mostly empty. It's like, oh wow, I get this big old theater all to myself. Yeah. So.
But that will change. I think it won't be too long.
Maybe it's because I'm an American, but I am the person sitting in the theater with fewer people. I'm sitting there.
Me too.
If a movie comes out, and you see the one about the moon, the comedy that came out.
Oh yeah,
Moon Man. That was the English name. Yeah, with the kangaroo on the moon. I went to see that. It was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we were trying to export contemporary ideas about Chinese culture to America, that's a movie people should check out. But we are out of time. Please join us next time on The Bridge, a show that connects East and West. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Andy.
Thank you.
Andy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you
Thank
next time.